Hello again, and welcome to Ruining My Childhood, the channel where I rewatch my favorite animated films in hopes that my childhood innocence stays intact. Today's video was recommended by a commenter, so if this breaks my brain, it's partially your fault. Thanks though. Great username, by the way. Today, we're going over Tom Sawyer in an attempt to answer if another retelling of Mark Twain's classic novel is any good if a band of country-loving furries got a hold of its publishing rights. So, where will this deviant artist's dream come true end up on the tier list? Let's get into it and find out. We open, of course, with a steamboat because apparently no Tom Sawyer adaptation can exist without one. I get it. Mississippi River, steamboats, history, whatever. And at this point, I've just accepted that nearly anything not made by Disney in the 90s came with a mandatory jank filter. So I'm not even going to rag on the animation here. We fly through accompanied by a choir of singing pigs, and is it just me or does anyone else see some symbolism of a church run by pigs? Just me? Okay, I'll shut up. Besides, before I can even let my mind run with the possibilities, we're immediately met with our villain of the story, Injurin' Joe. And I know he's the villain and all, and also a bear, but why he
You need to leave!
I did wonder why they renamed him Injurin' Joe, and apparently it's because his original name didn't age well, like, at all. I'm not down with the Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer lore enough to argue for or against. So even if I refer to his book character, I'll refer to him as Joe for the remainder of this video to avoid any issues. If anyone has anything to add on to it, sound off about it in the comments. But if you're gonna lecture me about Mark Twain, at least like and subscribe first. Anyways, Joe terrorizes the church and steals the collection money, and after a quick detour with Sheriff and Deputy Bean, we get our very first song. Did I forget to mention that every song was sung by country music singers? Well, now you know. Some of them also do the voice acting, like Rhett Atkins and Mark Willis as Tom and Huck, and honestly, they don't do a bad job. Like, shockingly, not bad. The song itself is pretty meh, but the chorus will get stuck in your head, and I'll admit, some of these songs made their way onto my playlist years ago when I suddenly remembered this movie existed. This isn't one of them, so I'll point out the others when we get to them. And even though I'm not fond of this song, I do quite like the art shift that goes on during it. So, all around, not the best opener, but certainly not the worst. Tom is awakened from his song dream sequence by his Aunt Polly, voiced by the amazing Betty White, R.I.P. Her character, following the novel, she's a bit controlling, but she means well. She's followed around by Tom's annoying snitch of a brother Sid, and for the remainder of this video, I will be coming for him non-stop.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Shortly after, we meet Huckleberry Finn, who is my favorite character of the movie by far. But we're interrupted by Sid being a snitch, and also admitting that he likes being a snitch. Like, sir, seek help.
I believe it myself. I know. I'm so numb. I just hate him, I hate him, I hate him.
Tom and Huck plan to go to the boneyard because I guess graveyard is too metal for a children's movie during the next full moon to search for buried treasure. And it's at this point we meet Becky Thatcher. After seeing Becky, Tom immediately makes his way to school because boy see pretty girl, boy must follow. And Sid, keeping his promise, snitches as Tom tries to sneak in.
Stop tattletelling all the motherfucking time. Look, don't nobody like a tattletale.
He needs a good backhand at this point. I'm so serious. Here, we also meet Amy Lawrence, and my goodness, are there a lot of named characters in this movie. And most of them have a significant enough amount of screen time to where I feel like I can't just skip over them. But at this point, it's only been 15 minutes. Damn you, Mark Twain, and the group of furries that decided to make this movie. Here's another example of a named character, Rebel. Rebel is Tom's frog that was seen earlier in the movie after the morning dream sequence. But at that point, he wasn't important enough to mention him. Well, now he is, and will be, for the rest of the film. And Rebel is kind of dumb. Do you guys know that chicken from Moana? Rebel has got to be his ancestor, probably born from some interspecies romance that these animated films love so much. Due to his antics, Rebel causes class to end early, and then here comes Sid again.
Here's your list of the bad kids. I wish they were all perfect like me, but we'll talk again later when you're feeling better.
So after Rebel's chaos ends class early, Tom, still running on a singular brain cell powered entirely by dumb luck, decides now's the perfect time to make his move on Becky. Tom walks Becky home, and I have to say, the BGM during these moments when they're having a deeper conversation is nice and really drives the moment home. It honestly made me want to root for them as a couple. And they're both cats, so no interspecies romance here. The song that follows after their conversation is Hook, Line, and Sinker. This is one of the songs that made it onto my playlist. Honestly, this movie really did itself right by picking country singers for the music. It makes a lot of the songs easy to listen to outside of the context of the movie, even if they're not my favorite. But in the context of the movie, this song fits Tom's sudden infatuation with Becky. All for that for me to say, it's a bop. The boat scene is funny because in the novel, Tom has to whitewash a fence. An honestly tough chore. Here, it's multiplied by having him paint an entire boat. Aunt Polly, this is child abuse. Yeah, Tom's a troublemaker, but ma'am, ground him. There's also another little song here that fits the core of Tom's persuasion from the novel, but it's not on my playlist and it's not very long, so it doesn't matter that much. The full moon arrives and Tom takes Rebel to meet Huck in the boneyard, and following the child abuse, we get to see some animal abuse, because Huck instructs Tom to toss Rebel into the air to make him some type of makeshift compass. And can you believe this boy actually full on yeets his frog into the air?
When we get rich, you'll be living the high life with us.
Yeah, no, he's dead. But apparently, Rebel is a pretty good compass, because he leads them to Joe in the boneyard with Mutt Potter, who are digging for treasure. But again, they're throwing that poor frog. This is awful. Meanwhile, Deputy Bean is also in the boneyard, in the pouring rain, mourning his late wife, and he overhears Joe yelling at Mutt. He goes to check it out and stop them from grave robbing, and, well, things don't turn out great for him. For me, this is one of the most memorable parts of the movie. Other than some of the songs, I still remember this scene from when I was a kid. Watching Deputy Bean get manhandled, telling Joe to let him go before being catapulted by Joe really stuck with me in a haunting way. It's pretty sad to see even all these years later. That is, until I got to the part where he screams as he is thrown. And then I started laughing. Look, I don't remember his scream being that funny, but man, did I laugh hard during the first rewatch. And it still got a chuckle out of me in every other rewatch, and it probably will still get a chuckle out of me when I edit this video. I'm sorry. No one told him to sound like Chris Rock being tossed across the Oscar stage, okay? After disposing of Deputy Bean, Joe is alerted to the boys, and while they get away, Rebel is captured. Mutt, after being knocked out during the Joe and Deputy scuffle, is found by the sheriff and falsely accused of murder.
You're gonna hang, Mutt Potter. You're gonna hang from the highest tree.
So after vowing to never speak on what they saw in the boneyard, Tom and Huck decide to act normal by following their normal routines. So it's back to school for Tom, and once he gets there, he and Amy spot Becky looking over their last test results. Becky, after being startled by Tom, spills ink all over their tests in another classic novel scene. It's here where we find out that Amy is also a snitch.
Guess what, son? You're next.
Amy rats Becky out, but Tom takes the blame, and since he's covered in ink and already the class menace, he's the one who gets spanked for it. And I know they're kids, but Becky, the crying is dramatic. After, Becky thanks Tom for his bravery, and Tom proposes to Becky, which brings us to the contender for my favorite song of the movie, One Dream. And of course, you know it's on my playlist. Though I did notice that it sounds different in the original movie version of the song versus the soundtrack version that I have. I obviously can't play them here, but you can watch the movie and find the soundtrack online to compare. It's also at this point where I realize Tom is a little problematic in the love area. You know, being engaged to 2 women and all, both Amy and Becky, and then acting like the girls are the problem. That's future reality TV behavior, Tom. But I'll let it go, since he's a kid. That night, Tom and Huck sneak out to speak to Mutt Potter to try and help him remember the Deputy Bean incident, but Rebel, who is still captured by Joe, leads him right to them. And now I am fully back on my Rebel deserves the absolute worst agenda. The boys escape Joe by way of the boat and wash up on Jackson Island after a nasty storm. We get another song break that brings us Friends for Life, an acid dream sequence of a musical number, but still pretty good. I appreciate the mood whiplash of it all. Almost murdered, nearly drowned, no big deal because I'm with my bestie. I wish I still had some of that whimsy in my life. But the whimsy doesn't last long for them either, because back on the water, the town is searching for Tom and Huck, and when they fail to hear their calls back, believe that they both perish in the storm and hold a funeral the next morning. And man, that was fast. Not even a second day of searching. I bet Becky would have gotten a second day of searching. Anyways, at the funeral, everyone is saddened by the loss of Tom and Huck, and instead of coming clean, Tom and Huck decide to let everyone continue to think they're dead until karma decides to circle back around and sends them falling through the roof, much to everyone's surprise and happiness.
Tom!
My sweet boy.
Best scene of the whole movie right there. 10-10, no notes. In the next scene, Mutt is on his way to be hanged. And the sheriff just keeps dropping bars related to death. I'm sorry, he's not giving Mutt any room to breathe whatsoever. Meanwhile, Tom and Huck watch overhead just as Joe arrives to watch as well. The boys, finally realizing that even though they're scared, they can't let an innocent man hang, reveal Joe's crimes to the whole town. Joe, of course, is furious and gives chase, but the bridge he chases Tom and Huck onto collapses under his weight and sends him down the falls, seemingly killing him. But we still have at least 20 minutes left of the movie, so that's clearly a fake out. The town throws a celebration / exoneration party for Tom, Huck, and Mutt, and it's at this point where Amy is really getting on my nerves. He doesn't want you. Have some dignity. Date Sid, since y'all like tattling on people so much. Not saying Tom isn't at fault, but you got no one to let go, girl. Tom and Becky ditch Amy and go to Dead Man's Cave, and if there is any named place that I would stay away from based on name alone, that is at the top of the list. But they go anyway, and we get our final song, Light at the End of the Tunnel, when they realize they're lost with seemingly no way out. It's one of those award-baity songs that's nearly always present in animated films since Disney started winning Best Song at the Oscars. First of all, this movie is winning no awards. And secondly, it's the worst song of the movie, so. All that light at the end of the tunnel talk, and that certainly didn't save them from running into Joe again. Because once they find the treasure, he pops up. Because he's still alive. Shocker. In true Joe fashion, he tries to end Tom and Becky, but once again he fails, and this time, he's gone for good. The movie ends with Tom going to meet Huck, Becky, and Amy for a picnic, and a magnificent backfire on Sid's attempt at tattling again. This time, he has to paint the boat. Deserved. At the picnic, we find out Huck and Amy have started dating, and I should have known that I wouldn't be able to avoid another interspecies romance. I was so close, though. I was so close. I don't know why I thought Amy ended up with Sid. That was like an image in my brain. And maybe it's because I wanted that, but yeah, that doesn't happen. But they make a plan to go back and get the treasure because they've clearly learned nothing from their previous adventures. And that's where the movie ends. For all the praise I gave this film while watching, I do have to say one major negative of this whole movie. It can get pretty boring when watching it all at once. It's not bad, but it's not great either. It's the kind of movie as an adult that you put on while cleaning or doing something around the house to have on in the background, or if you're doing chores and you have kids, something to sit them down to have them focus and you maybe take a look every few minutes. It hits every beat, yes, but it doesn't knock anything out of the park, except maybe the music. But this isn't a soundtrack rating channel, so Tom Sawyer gets placed in, still holds up on my tier list. And I'll place it after Ferngully because I feel like that was a better movie overall. Well, thank you for watching another video on ruining my childhood. I'm hoping for the next video I can get it out faster for you guys. I do have a full-time job, I have a dog, I have other responsibilities, but I'm hoping to shift from the month or more that I'm releasing videos to maybe 2 to 3 weeks. No promises, but that's my goal for the next upcoming video. If any of you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. I do have a list for those and I will get to them. I have a few commenters that already posted. This video was from a commenter. Thank you again. So if you guys have them, put it down in the comments. I'll get to it eventually. Also, thanks for all the views and subs I got from the Freddy video. I hated that movie. I hated doing the video for it, but I'm grateful that you all enjoyed the video, and I think it's now the highest video on this channel, so thanks. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and try not to watch any videos that may ruin your childhood. That's my job. I'll see you all next time.